with its glittering royal palaces, ancient temples and sacred shrines as well as sandy beaches. Some of the world's best skiing and beautiful national parks, Japan is a country you'll want to return to again and again. It's also a very traditional place with a strict etiquette. If you're visiting for the first time, follow our tips to make sure you don't get caught out. Always ensure that you take off your outdoor shoes before entering a temple or someone's house, where you'll find indoor shoes to change into. You'll need to take these off, though, to walk on tatami mats, often in temples and traditional houses. And, if you go to the toilet in a temple, restaurant or home, make sure you switch into the toilet slippers. You might be surprised to learn that the glorious cherry blossom, seen adorning postcards and tourist brochures from across Japan, actually only blooms in the country during Sakura, cherry blossom. Running roughly from the end of March to early May, it can be the most expensive time to visit, but it's also when Japan is at its most enchanting and vibrant. Sakura is so prized that there's even a word for enjoying looking at it, and other flowers hanami. Walking through parks, you'll notice crowds gathered for hanami parties, picnicking under trees. There's no need to tip. In fact, it can be seen as rude, and if you do tip, you may find yourself being chased by a waiter, thinking you've left your change by mistake. An alternative, if you take a guided tour or cookery class for example, is to bring a small present from your country as a token of your appreciation. Ride the Shinkansen. Japan's bullet trains are an experience in their own right. They glide smoothly through the country and, incredibly fast and always perfectly on time, they're the best way to get around. Organize a JR pass before you go, which can be used on all Japan railways. Be aware that, while most people will be racing through the ticket barriers on prepaid cards, you'll need to wait at ticket barriers for someone in the station to check your pass. Bring cash. It can prove fairly difficult to find ATMs in Japan, so it's a good idea to exchange money before you go, or to take reasonably large amounts out at a time. When you do need to take more out, head to a post office, or to a 7-Eleven or Citibank ATM. Make use of konbinis. Konbinis, or convenience stores, tend to have many of the things that visitors will need, as well as delicious steamed buns. Family Mart, 7-Eleven and Lawson are the big names, and you'll find them everywhere you go. Be polite. Foreigners have a reputation for being noisy in Japan, especially on public transport, so be respectful. It's impolite to answer your phone, and, if you're listening to music, turn the volume down low. It's ruder in Japan to blow your nose in public than sniff, and avoid eating on the go. Don't overpack. You're usually a thrifty traveler. You don't really buy too much stuff when you leave your country. Why would Japan be any different? Because there is so much that you will like and will hate yourself if you don't buy it. It doesn't matter what you're into: clothing, anime, cute items, masks, shoes, quirky products or gizmos, puzzles, decorative items, traditional products, unique snacks, and food. Japan has its own version of it, and you will want to take it back with you. You won't need to pack too many articles of clothing, even for a more extended trip. Most hotels, guest houses, or bed and breakfasts have a laundry machine. It's also not uncommon to see several coin-operated self-service laundries. The space you'll save will likely be filled with new clothes, presents, and much more by the time you return home. Check the weather. Since we are talking about packing, make sure that you check the weather in the areas of Japan you'll be visiting. The weather in Japan changes a lot from area to area, and you may be caught off guard if you don't do some research. Summer in Japan, especially in Kyoto, but also in many other cities, can be unbearably hot and humid. Winter in Hokkaido is extremely rigid. Furthermore, will it be the rainy season in Japan during your trip? Will you have to deal with some typhoons here and there? All these things are good to know when packing. Depending on your country of origin, you may be surprised at how different the weather is in Japan from the one you were expecting. Save money on transport by getting a Japan Rail Pass. Many of the transport operators in Japan offer special discounted tickets, passes, and fares for visitors with a foreign passport. Each of these passes offers great savings off the regular fares, but to really get your money's worth, you'll want to at least plan what cities you intend to visit. Especially if you are visiting Japan for an extended holiday, 1 week or more, you may wish to consider purchasing a pass in advance,